Alrighty. Well, welcome to Romera Records podcast. Today we have on
Monique Williams, co-owner of Biscuits and Jams restaurant, brunch, breakfast, and lunch spot. Also co-owner of another restaurant, Trap Fusion, that's located in Whitehaven and location in Cordova. And yeah, by the way, Biscuits and Jams is located in Barleton. So you should come and see me. I'm there most of the time.
It's actually like right across the street from where we're doing this now.
That's where we met, huh?
Yeah. So if you are not, this is your first Romera Records podcast. This is my new studio. I used to do it in my house, and it was pretty cool setup. Everybody said they loved like the transformation, just to let you know. I just met her. What was this? September, I think.
Yeah, we opened in August. So you've really almost known me the life of Biscuits and Jams. We opened like mid-August. So after that. Yeah.
When I ran into you, I was just, telling you about, I do photography and videography, and but yeah, I've basically just been doing this podcast. It started out like in a dorm where I was like learning to do the job that I have at Owens Corning, and then transitioned to my house, and then from there, it's here now. So whatever the future has, me and Ryan decide to buy a new place, then it'll be there. But this is the first podcast in here. So.
Awesome. I love it. I'm trying to figure out how I can get in here and do a podcast too. It's an amazing studio. Happy to be here. Can't wait to get the conversation started.
So you do a lot of different types of businesses. You're not in just one lane. So how did that start? Like, are you just the type of person that I just like doing stuff, or as you've gotten older, your interest has evolved?
Well, I won't say because it's gotten older. I think that it's just evolved into what I always wanted it to be. Mm-hmm. Making a long story short, I did just retire from a 24-year career in clinical research. Oh, wow. Very profitable jobs, position. I did really well in it. Most people would say, well, I was started off as like a data manager, then a clinical research associate, then a clinical team manager, research trial manager, basically in project management, basically managed the research studies for different pharmaceutical companies. I went from the one that goes out and reviews the data. Those were commercials for drugs when they said 10% of people experience headaches, 5% of people. I was a person that kind of went to the sites and made sure that the sites being the physician offices or the institutions that where the protocol trials were being ran for the pharmaceutical companies. I was the person that went in and made sure that information was being gathered accurately so that it could be used in the analysis to get the drugs eventually approved through the FDA or approved to be used for a different indication, So that's what I did for many years, So, and again, quite enjoyed it, but it was always my desire, even from a child, to own my own business, and preferably a restaurant, lounge kind of thing. So wrote a business plan when I was 12, this is, I was very it's just that at that time, I'll be 48 in March, that's not really the thing that they taught us. You go to school, you go to college, you get a job, you work, whatever many years, you retire, and and that's how it goes. You're not really taught, unless you come from a home or family of entrepreneurs, or about how to go do something on your own and not work for somebody. Yeah. So it just was an evolution in me learning that, and while I was still working in my career in clinical research, in the clinical research industry, I was out there, doing different things. I did all kinds, because I'm kind of artsy-fartsy, creative. Learned how to cook from my grandmother. She pastry cook. She worked for Memphis City Schools for years. Retired from there. Amazing cook. Did things for people. Family would come up, Laura, oh my God, what you cook, what cakes you got in there, what kind of preserves you made, what kind of this, that, I grew up with a garden and all that. So I was just surrounded by food and I enjoy food, you know, one of the best things God ever invented. That's how I feel about it, you know. It's like,
keeps us alive.
Like, what do you eat? You know, and yeah, we get, you know, it's nutrients, but like, what can you do with it? You know, what kind of taste or flavor you can get out of this? So, you know, doing that, and then, you know, just cooking for my daughter, and friends would come over and I'd cook, and then even when I would travel for my clinical research job, I would come home and bake. That was like my comfort. So I started like baking from home, and then I got into doing sculpted cakes and different stuff like that. So and when I would travel, I would visit different bakeries and do things like that and talk to the owners. So I opened up a bakery in 2012 here in Cordova, and did quite well. I did cakes for like the police director, you know, a lot of big pastors here in the city. I did a lot of stuff, you know, news casters, anchors. I did things for, you know, a lot. And people still come in Biscuits and Jam, they see me and they're like, oh my God, you're Patty Cake, because that was the name of it. So I did that, and my daughter went off to college and was like, yeah, I need a break. Tired, still working my job, you know, in my career, owning a business. And then I decided, you know, take a little break, but I couldn't break. You know, I break for a little while, and it was like, what was just kind of innate. This is what I want to do. So then I jumped back out there and started Laura's Kitchen, named after my grandmother, out in Bartlett, not too far from my house, and did that, and said, you know what? No, I don't want to keep paying a lease. I'm going to move into a food truck. So I got a food truck. Food truck turned into Trap Fusion. Still had the food truck, but, you know, we needed a catering kitchen. Partnered with a friend of mine at the time, and did that and opened it up, and opened up 2 locations. And before the pandemic, you know, and I wrote this business plan for Biscuits and Jam, and I invited a couple of my other friends to join in, because I knew it was going to be a big undertaking, and I didn't want to just do it by myself. You know, I actually have. I don't say I call myself. I have to just speak it, because I always say I call myself. I'm a restaurateur. I have a lot of, I think, amazing ideas for restaurants that I think would be really good in the city. And eventually I'm doing one at a time that I'm going to set up and get them, you know, going, and help manage and do those things, create menus. So long story, but short, or long story, because it's hard to make it short. But yeah, that's kind of how I got into it. Always wanted to do it. Find myself here, decided to retire from my clinical research career back in August, right after I opened up Biscuits and Jams, because life is short. If COVID hadn't showed you anything, life is short. So you might as well do what the hell you want to do. And then if it's something positive, of course, do it. You know, do it. You know, have faith, step on out there, and, you know, and make it happen. So that's how I ended up here at Biscuits and Jams. But yeah.
So let's go back to when you're still working. You said that you've always wanted to do like the restaurant stuff. Well, like when you're doing your regular job, the clinical research, how much did it eat at you that you were there and not full time doing your other stuff?
It was an ache or pain I cannot really describe.
Yeah.
Because I felt like I wasn't giving myself a fair shot, or my business is a fair shot. And it was very hard to concentrate on because I'll be honest, what I did for a living requires, you have to be very meticulous, detail oriented, focused, and I've done well in it. I really, you know, went up the ladder in it, but it just got to a point where it's like, I'm thinking about the next recipe, or what can I do to make my business better, or what I'm missing out on at my business, or what meeting I could be in to find out information to help my business. And I'm here. And yes, it's affording me a great life, and it's actually affording me the opportunities to be able to open up the business.
Yeah, it funded your other.
Yeah, it funded it.
Yeah.
But it was like, okay, at some point I got to make a choice, and it just kind of got away. And I'm a very spiritual person, so I was like praying about it. I was like, oh God, I'm like, I got to make a decision. You know, as much as I love my Louboutins and my purses, and, you know, and all that kind of stuff, like in the end, what is going to give me that joy, that fulfillment? And honestly, it's doing this, Is it a struggle at times? Absolutely. Do I have to maybe look at a person too and say, I want to buy that plan? Just hold off. Yeah, I'm a girl's girl. I like all this stuff, But I honestly, and I can go back. Like the last few years, I was in the industry, clinical research industry. I was a contractor. So I still get calls all the time. My phone was just buzzing. I looked at the number. I'm pretty sure there's somebody calling me about a contract. Wow. And I can go and do a 6-month contract. If it ever gets like that, I'm like, I want to go stack a little money to do, I can go do it. But I know the whole time I'm there, I'm going to be thinking about biscuits and jams. So I'm going to be thinking about Laura's Kitchen. I have a catering kitchen that I'm working on right now just to help other bakers to go in and bake, And so it eats away at you, like in a way that I don't even think I can narrow it down to like a word or two. It's just, it sucks, man.
But did you find a time when you were like, so you said 24 years, right? Mm-hmm. So when you were 15 years in, did you decide, all right, 9 more years and then I'm stopping and then I'm going to do my other stuff? Or did you just one day be like, all right, next month, I'm done?
It was more like, so I'll say this. Right when COVID hit, I quit.
Oh, okay.
I let my contract go right before, right at 2020. And my plan was, I'm done. Mm-hmm. I got money stacked up, I'm done. That was like February. March, here we go, locked in the house, quarantine. Mm-hmm. And literally I had to, couldn't work. I wasn't going to go and do what I did before and try to get a job and have to travel and go to sites. We don't know what's going on with COVID. Yeah. And so I basically just lived off my savings. Well, end of 2020, I need to go back to work. This sucks though. But I got, this life, take it, move on, go back. And at some point, go in this thing. This is it. Going here determined, talk to myself. Okay, going here determined. Because I talk to myself, might sound like crazy people, but
everybody should.
Yeah, I talk to myself. I really do. Yeah. I really do. I'm like, okay, Monique, we're gonna go in here, we're gonna do this, we're gonna take care of it. And we're gonna do what we need to do. But the next time we come out of here, we're out. We might go and do a little this here and there, but we're out. Yeah. So I went back in with this last contract and, and it was decent, and it was a year-long contract, could extend it for another year. I had one of my best friends, like my big sister, passed away just unexpectedly in April, right before her, she's older than me, right before her 60th birthday. Like a really less than like 6 days, 5-6 days before her 60th. I didn't get a chance to tell her goodbye, just unexpectedly. And maybe 2 weeks before that, my daughter's godmom, somebody I love dearly, passed away unexpectedly. Same age as I am. Yeah. 47, gone. And at that point, it was like, and I'm not, and I'll be honest, I'm not really, I'm the one you want to have with you in the crisis. Mm-hmm. And I'm not saying it bragging, but I'm that person that you need somebody there. I don't care how I'm in my head all over the place thinking, but if something happens, I snap into, okay, let's fix this. Let's get it, Yeah. And it literally rocked my world. Mm-hmm. Like that was the first time I remember on that contract, I called and said, I need to take off. Mm-hmm. I'm not going to be able to do this. I'm not going to be able to function. And I took off a week and I just really just grieved. Still grieving, but functional grieving now. Yeah. And it was like, I can't function. I got to be off. And they was like, okay, take off. I took off for a week. And in that time, my friend, my sister, her name was Velvet Banks. She was a writer. I met her at St. Jude because I worked at St. Jude, a long time. I met her at St. Jude and she's an amazing writer. Poetry, and she's been working on a novel forever, a juicy novel. Okay. And she could tell the best story. She was amazing.
I'm about to have her on.
Yeah, well, that's the one that passed away. Yeah.
Oh, my bad. I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. And I wish you could.
Yeah.
And she amazing. And she's been writing this book. And after Kia passed away, my daughter's godmom and one of my good friends passed away, she called me. We were talking about her. And I was like, when are you gonna get this book done? I had been telling her, like, we're gonna find you an editor. She's like, I'm gonna finish my book this year. I'm getting it done. And I said, because I know it's juicy. You gotta let me read a couple pages. And she passes away. Book doesn't get published. The book still, you know. And at that moment, it was like, I could be going there fast.
Yeah.
And I'm killing myself trying to work a full-time job for things, for things. And not to say that it did not help me to fund my businesses, but I'm doing it for things. I'm doing it. My daughter's grown. It doesn't take that much from me. I want to do what I love. I don't want the pressure of all of that. I don't want to live that life.
Yeah.
I want to do, if I leave here tomorrow, what am I going to be happy about? Like if I leave here tomorrow, what will be my regrets? I was a good mom. I, took care of my child, did what I was supposed to do, help her now. I've been a good daughter. But what have I done for Monique that makes Monique happy? Monique's been working, and make mom's proud to say, oh, my daughter does this. Family's proud, but what's gonna make me happy at the end of all of this?
Yeah.
Because in the whole scheme of things, all of it's vanity anyway, to be honest with you. And this is what makes me happy. This is what brings me joy. It's seeing something that you create from nothing and it becomes something, and then also knowing that you created something that helps other people. It helps them to be able to put food on their table, and it helps pay their bills. Even when it doesn't help me, like in this moment, I'm brand new. It's not helping me from a financial standpoint at this moment. At some point it will, but I can look in my building and say, okay, I'm able to help that person take care of themselves and their family. I'm able to help that person over there. All of that, plus it's an idea, a dream, whatever that I feel like God gave me, and I was able to put it into motion and action, and here it is, and know that it's really doing something to smiles, not that every day is a good day, you get the days, but in the whole scheme of things, it's like, yeah. So I think the death of my friend is what really made me say, yeah, I'm good. This check is amazing, but really, I could find out today I got cancer and be gone in 3 days, because that's what she did. What she was going, and Sunday diagnosed with cancer, Tuesday gone.
Yeah.
So could happen to any of us. We don't want it.
Yeah.
But that's just reality.
Do you think that is something that most people should experience, like some sort of situation that like thrust them? I mean, we all, not all, but most of us had to experience that during COVID. Like a lot of people were losing their jobs, and a lot of people were put into situations where their jobs are either on hold or something like that. So like, it's like America, or not even America, but the whole world got thrust into a situation where it's like, hey, maybe you need to do something else in life that might provide for your family. And that's pretty cool what you were saying also about just the restaurant. Like your thought process isn't just my restaurant. It's also like I'm giving all these people jobs and they can provide for themselves as well. So I think that type of situation that happened to you, I guess the realization of, I could be gone at any moment, and, was I doing what I should have been doing? You said being spiritual, were you listening to the things that God might have been telling you to do, and the gifts that you were given, stuff like that? Do you think that most people should, be in that kind of situation to help them?
Yeah, I wouldn't wish it on anybody, but I think everybody needs a little wake up call at times. I think, COVID kind of should have been enough, because you look at how everything should just done, and jobs stopped. You couldn't move, you couldn't this. So I think that wake up call, my mom got COVID. She was really sick. She was, we didn't know she was going to make it. And even last year with my friend, last year was a whole year to me, I felt like, of wake up calls, always to the end, whether it was a business venture I'm in and I need to get out of it, that maybe I didn't want to, because I feel, sometimes you feel like, oh, I'm so intertwined. I'm so, I put so much into this or whatever. But I think everybody needs an eye-opening experience, and you said something. I do believe that we all come to this earth with gifts. I think we all have gifts. And I think and again, I'll say that, people's like spiritual. I hate to be churchy. I don't call myself churchy or anything like that because I'm not, but your gifts will make room for you. So I think if we're taught early on in life to focus and nurture your gifts, that you're not 40, getting ready to be 48, which I'm, still young, and saying, I want to go live that part of my life.
Yeah.
Because I think if that's nurtured early in life, like I'll use my daughter for example, and she doesn't care. So like I said, she had dyslexia, and it was hard. She's one of the reasons why I climbed the corporate ladder. So because it was like I had to put her in private school. I had to make sure that she was able to learn the way she needed and had the tools that she couldn't get in a regular public school setting.
Yeah.
So that was like the catalyst of me. Like, I got to do this because I got to be able to afford to do these things to take care of her, to make sure that she is a productive member of society and she's not out here with this, thing that she has to deal with, and she hasn't been taught how to maneuver in life with it to do well. So with that, that's what pushed me further to climb that ladder. Like I said, I think if I didn't have that, I probably would have been cool with here and then,
complacent.
A little complacent, a little been happy somewhere painting the wall. Cause that's just me. I'm like, just give me a canvas, paint. And so that helped me. So it's like I look back over my life, and those are the things that have pushed me to go and do. Cause otherwise I will just kind of like, okay, it's good here. It's not, I'm not that, I'm not clicking my heels, but it's good here.
Yeah.
So I think to really excel or move into that place where you're working in your gifts and doing, we all have to have that eye-opening experience.
Yeah.
Hopefully it doesn't have to be a death.
Yeah.
It could be, just a little kick in the butt. But yeah, I think that pushes you along, to make you say, it's enough is enough. Let's do what we came here to do.
Yeah, something that kind of started me to do even this building. It was really just thinking about death in itself, but I guess even further than thinking about death, it was really thinking about life.
Yeah,
because I was really thinking about like, okay, if something tragically happened to me, would I be happy with what I was doing? And
absolutely.
I was just working at Owens Corning, making great money, I already had my music stuff. I've been doing music for a while, and I've been doing the podcast, but I was like, okay, couldn't I take this to another level because I was actually trying to pay off my house super early. I'm talking like 3 years. I was trying to pay off my house. And then one day I had a podcast with Ryan, my business partner. And then later on, it was like months later, he wanted to go into business with me. And I was like, man, I'm not the right person for this because I'm trying to pay off my house and I'm trying to live broke basically so I can do that. And then, I'm going to have tons of money to do whatever. And then one day I was just like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just going to put all my money toward all my business ventures and then just do it, because I will be, even though like, yeah, I'll still have my debt for the house and other things, like accumulating debt for buying stuff, but I will be happier day to day knowing that I've got a building where I can do podcasts.
Absolutely.
And I can do all these things. So I was like, I'd rather enjoy the life while I have it than worry about, okay, 4 years from now, I'm going to be doing great. But
yeah, this is like thinking about, like, I think about my grandmother, and you probably had this experience too. Grandmother, mother, the china or the silverware.
Yeah.
That you save for the special occasion.
Yeah.
And you clean it and you still put it back up. You don't eat off of it. You clean it, you shine it up, you put it back up, and it's being saved for a special occasion.
Yeah.
And I remember when I was 23, 24, when my grandma passed away. And I remember when I was a kid, she had all these beautiful robes and long gowns and all of this, in her, mink stoles, this before PETA and all that kind of stuff, all that stuff in there, all this stuff in the closet. And I was just looking, it was so pretty to me. And I'm like, Grandma, why you don't wear this? Oh, I'm saving it. If I have to go to the hospital, then I'll have this to wear. Or I'm saving this if this comes up and I'll do this, or we don't eat off those plates. This is when we have guests. And I think about, when she passed away, we were cleaning out her clothes, those same gowns that she had been saving were in there, and they had literally, the thread had started coming loose on them and all of that. And she didn't get any wear out of them, though.
Yeah.
It was just time, just sitting. And as you were speaking, that kind of came to my head, because that's what we do with our lives. We talk about, I'm going to pay this off, and then I'm going to take that big trip. Or as soon as so-and-so, I'm going to write that. I'm going to publish my book, or I'm going to do this. And it's like, what if that time doesn't come?
Yeah. Yeah.
So do you wait to live then on the hope that you'll be here when that time comes? Or do you take advantage of the life you're in right now?
Yeah.
Because this is the only life we know, is what we're right now.
Yeah.
I don't know what happens once I walk out the door. All I know is like, man, I'm glad I took the opportunity to come in here and talk to Jackson and have and be a part of this podcast.
Yeah.
But I don't know what's going to happen when I walk out that door. I just know what's happening right now. And that's not saying just to say to hell with it and just live, spend all my money. Who knows? Go to the street. Yeah, I want that car. I want to do this. It's not saying to do that, but it's saying take advantage of the moment. My guy, he's not a picture person, but I'm a picture person. A lot of times I have my phone. It's like, you always have a phone. No, I have tons of pictures. I had to get a new iPhone. And I had to constantly update my cloud because I love taking pictures. I love, not per se of myself, but of things.
Do you like to have a physical picture?
Some things I do get printed out, and some things, like if I'm a little down, I go and I look at the pictures, and it reminds me, oh, it was here. Okay. Oh, I saw this. Oh, I did this, and I have pictures all over my house. But I do that because I love the memories.
Yeah.
Because I experienced that. And so it's about life and your experiences. But you can't experience things if you're waiting on what you're going to do tomorrow. Because tomorrow may never come. We hope it does. We pray it does.
Yeah.
We got plans for it. But what if it doesn't? So what did you do today? How did you make today the best day? Yeah. So, yeah.
I think about that all the time with, I think just like young people in general, like as you were saying, you being your age, you're still young. And I think I recently just posted this on Facebook. I was like, if you are under 40, you are still a baby. Like you've lived a full life at 40 something and you're basically starting over pretty much. And I think about your work life as like a dog's life. Like when dogs are like one, they can still function pretty well by themselves. Like they know how to eat, drink, and move around. Like when a baby is one, they can't function like a dog when it's one. So that's why I think about work life. Like we grow pretty quickly in our work life. So for you to be 15 years in, you're pretty seasoned, but also in people's life, you're still actually really young. So I think about it like if you say you're 20 years old and you do something for 10 years, people are like, oh, you've been doing this for 10 years. It's a long time. But if you started when you were 20 and now you're 30, you're 30 years old. Like that's nothing. Like 30 years old is so young. And then you could do something else for another 10 years and do something else for another 10 years. So you could have 3 careers and from the time you're 20 to 50 and do it for 10 years. Like that,
and know it well. Yeah. 10 years. Yeah. Every day, 40 hours a week. You know it well,
yes.
Yeah, absolutely. But we don't think of it like that. You don't think that's a good analogy. We just don't think of it like that. You think that this is it, you know. But it does. As long as you have breath in your body, and able to move your limbs and do. And I don't even say that because heck, you meet people that lost limbs and you're like, you did all that? You're in a wheelchair. Yup. You know, you said you did. Yeah, I did. You're saying like, what the heck is wrong with me? I didn't do anything, you know? So yeah, I think that, you know, and it's scary. It's absolutely scary because I think about every day. I look at the money that I have in the bank and I'm like, don't focus on that, you know, don't focus on that, you know, and this thing is going to, you know, start really making money soon and you can see it. You're looking at the numbers, you can see it. Don't focus. Just keep moving ahead, making adjustments.
Yeah.
And it like I said, it's different from, you know, like I said, I've been a contract worker. I've been contracting myself out over the last 5 years or so, and I got paid weekly. And I know I work those times, and Friday, like clockwork, there it goes in the account. And honestly, I did well. Half of the money I didn't even touch. I would just pay my bills and it'd just be sitting there. I remember the day I was thinking about like in my 20s and 30s, like, man, if I made this much money, I would be doing so and so. Now I'm making this much money. I'm looking at it like, in all honesty, what the freak do I need? What do I need? You know, I got a nice car, nice house, blah, blah, blah. This. The money's just sitting there. So then I started, you know, investing in my businesses, investing in me, where I've been years investing in other people, you know, and now here I am not working that job and just being a flat out entrepreneur and just living off what I got until, you know, and making this thing work and then starting to look at things and saying, do I need this big house? It's beautiful. I had it built. I love it. But do I need it?
Yeah, yeah.
You know, I started looking at things like that because what's most important to me right now?
That's something that I've thought about as well because, you know, the housing market right now.
Yeah. Oh, I sold one house.
Oh, yeah?
I sold one house. I sold a house that I held on to because it was my first starter home. And I sold it and did quite well off of it. It's helped me to be able to like, yeah, I'm good right now, you know. But even my house that I live in, I look at like it's rooms I don't even go into. So do I need this? Yeah. You know, and what's most important to me at this point? You know, and what's most important to me is, again, my businesses, balance, life balance, the freedom to breathe, you know, where you find a lot of times in jobs, you don't even have time to breathe. Like really take it in and breathe. Just breathe, you know, and that's what I think about now. And that's where I want to be, you know.
So for people who don't run businesses, I would say one thing that is a huge difference between going to a job and then like running your own business is understanding the difference of how you feel when you're doing the work. Yes. And I would like for you to speak about, I guess, the transition that you made from like, okay, I'm doing my work, and then like how you, I guess, are handling your business. So when you go into Business and Jams and you, I don't know if do you open the door? Like, you the first person there, or do you let somebody else open?
I don't now, but I did.
So when you were doing that, and you know, you're turning on the lights and stuff like that ownership type mentality, like how did that feel compared to just like, you know, being a good person in a job that you just have?
So I will say, I think that I've kind of always known that the difference in it, because I think, like I said, even from a kid, I had an entrepreneurial mindset and just not knowing how to quite do it. Yeah. So I always, from a job perspective, I always feel like I'm working for somebody. I want to give you my 110. I'm going to give you my 110, but this is not mine. Yeah, yeah. And again, not to constantly sound morbid, but if I died tomorrow, you probably have somebody in this position within 2 weeks, because you gotta feel it. Yeah, yeah. Because it's, you know, you need it to be able to do what you do. You know, the company to move ahead. So from a employee perspective versus being the owner, I've always kind of had that mindset. You know, being the owner and an entrepreneur, you look at things and in fact like this belongs to me. And it's like my baby. You know, sometimes it's a good way to look at it. Sometimes it's a bad way to look at it.
Sometimes your child is screaming at you.
Sometimes it's like, I don't even want to see you. I hate it. Let's just burn it down. Look, start again. You know, start over again. You know, do it again, but just burn this one down and start over. And everything in it. But I think the feeling that you have to walk into a building where you actually put your hands, you know, like people say, you know, they hope they put your hands to the plow, you know, and the feeling that you have, and even with me opening up businesses before and being younger, not that, again, I don't think I'm old, but it's just your body, you're different.
Yeah.
The energy level is different. That this one has been a lot different, you know, just from a mental standpoint, like this is going to be my livelihood. Mm-hmm. This is going to help other people. Like I said before, this is what type of boss do I want to be? Because I know the type of bosses that I had. What type of boss do I want to be? How do I want people to feel when they come in here? Not from just the employee, but the customer, to look at a wall and see it and say, I helped paint that, or I picked that picture to go on there. It's another kind of situation where I don't even know how to describe it. It's kind of surreal. Mm-hmm. You know, I don't know what words other than surreal to explain how it feels, you know, versus getting up in the morning and getting dressed to go work for someone else. And actually, don't have to be there to 8. But over here, we start getting ready to open, so we can open the doors at 7 at 6 a.m. So for me to be there at 6 a.m., I got to be up and ready to go. So I'm up at 5. I've never worked a job I had to be up at 5 a.m. Never. I'm the one that can stay up to 1 or 2 o'clock in the morning, you know, and be fine. I'm a night hawk. But here I am, bright and early in bushy tail, opening up a business that requires you to be up bright and early when it's still dark outside.
Yeah.
You know, and I wouldn't change it for the world. Mm-hmm. So
I know a lot of people, there's like this famous saying that people talk about is you'll quit your 40-hour-a-week job just so you can start your business and work 80 hours a week instead.
Yeah, I mean, because it's yours.
Yeah.
You know, it's yours. You know, we all like to say, okay, so Jackson, you say, hey, Monique, can I borrow that? You know, in business we call it, you know, like we'll name an item a widget. So I'm gonna call it a widget. It could be whatever you want it to be. Can I borrow your widget? Sure, Jackson. I would want to think that Jackson would take care of my widget the way that I would take care of my widget.
Yeah.
But you're not. You know, you're not.
Yeah.
Me, of course, I'm gonna sit my widget on a pedestal. I'm gonna wipe my widget off and get dust on it when it's not sounding right or doing right. I'm gonna get it repaired. You got my widget. I go over there. What the heck is it? Why you got it sitting on the floor? You know, that's where the 80 and that 40 comes in. You know, you know, it's not, you're not gonna tear it up, but you're not gonna treat it the way you're gonna treat, like I'm gonna treat it.
Yeah.
So for me, you know, with it being my business, am I tired? Am I pushing myself to the max? I'm aching all over? I'm like, man, I wasn't aching when I opened up my first business. I'm like, dog it, I'm on bed. I literally been on bed rest since I opened up. I had like 2 weeks of bed rest. Muscle relaxers, all this. Standing on concrete floor, just pushing it. Just keep going on it. Gotta get it done. Gotta get it done. Gotta get it. To my body was like, hey, crazy lady, you better sit down or you're going to be sitting down permanently, you know. But again, it's still worth the aches.
Yeah.
It's worth the pains. It's worth the tears. It's worth all of that because it belongs to me. Mm-hmm. You know, I did this. I was allowed to do this. People live their whole lives and want to open up businesses and they have these ideas and it never comes into fruition. They never get it done.
Yeah.
They just talk about it. You know, and so I've had the opportunity to do it. I've been blessed to be able to do it. And yeah, I'm going to take advantage of all of it. Mm-hmm. And I want to take the feeling and the emotion of all of that in, and people say, "Oh, you just," I'm like, no, I'm passionate. I'm not angry. I'm passionate about it.
Yeah.
And I'm passionate about people. Life is short. Live your dream.
Yeah. There's a saying. I think somebody said it, but it's like I think passion looks like aggression to the unmotivated, and I was like, that's
huge.
Yeah,
I'm gonna have to write that down. Passion, because I said something. I said I'm not angry.
Yeah.
I'm passionate. Just because I sound like this, but you don't know the countless hours of sleep, the meals that I'm working so hard that I say, "Crap, Monique, did you eat today?" And then immediately my stomach starts growling.
Yeah.
Because my mind is so like,
food.
Yeah. Oh crap. Yeah. Oh yeah, I am. Sorry, stomach growling. I gotta stop. I'm passing out.
That's why I've been knocking.
Yeah. That's why I'm gonna pass out now. And it's like, it's like the passion that you have. It's the driver. Like, I gotta get this done.
Yeah.
And people don't understand it. Like the people that are cool with. And I'm not saying any of this, so I don't want anybody here to think that somebody working a 40-hour job, there's something wrong with you. No, it's absolutely everybody has their own path. I feel like everybody was created in a way for their own thing, and everybody was. It takes a special, and I mean special meaning also a little crazy person, to be able to say, to hell with it, I'm gonna live my dream.
Yeah.
It's a lot of sacrifices. It's not pretty most of the time. Most of the time when it becomes pretty, you've damn near killed yourself trying to get it done.
Yeah.
And then now you got to that point, now you got to deal with all the crap that comes along with it, with that. But everybody, it's nothing wrong with working a 40-hour week job.
No,
it's nothing wrong with working a job that requires you're an exempt employee like I was, and you end up working 60 hours a week, but you get the same pay. That's what made me go contract when I was working clinical research. It's like, I'm working, give me 60 hours. You're paying me $100 a year.
Yeah.
I can go somewhere and work and make $80 to $100 an hour and I work 60 hours. I'm getting paid $80 to $100 an hour. I'll take that one, But, I mean, it's just such a feeling with all the words I've used. You just really can't describe it to know this is yours. I know when you walk in here, and I know you're still, when I came in, I was like, wow. When I came downstairs, and I see it, and I see your building. Nothing. When I look at things like this, I don't see anything like it's unfinished or what's going on here. I see he's building. He's doing. He has this. Man, I can't wait to see when he gets everything that he has in his head set up the way he wants it set up.
Yeah.
Because it's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
But that takes a special person to see that, because what's that is another saying, like what is your junk is somebody else's treasure. So takes a very special person. We might be a little crazy, Jackson. What do you think?
I like it though.
Yeah.
I always say, I love hanging out with people who are doers more than thinkers, because that's how Ryan is. Like Ryan, he won't think about stuff but much before he just does stuff. Like he's down to just like, all right, let's go do, because like action oriented people are going to be the ones that just get stuff done. And it's great to be a thinker. Like, I love thinking about stuff and visioning, but at the end of the day, if you don't do anything about those thoughts that are in your head, then what'd you actually accomplish? It's like somebody who is a songwriter but never delivers the lyrics to an actual singer or a rapper or whatever. It's like, okay, cool, you got all these great lyrics in your head and you might have written them down or something like that. But
what you do with them?
If the world can't hear it, then how valuable is it really?
Absolutely.
And I think, with you doing the things that you've done, and you're still doing, you didn't retire from what you were doing and then start one thing and then be like, all right, I'm done. Like this Biscuit and Jams is up. I'm good. I'm done. Like you've still got this vision of progression that you're constantly still doing things. And that's something for a lot of people to learn from.
Yeah. Well, thanks. Yeah. I think, like you just said, I fall in that category too. I'm a doer. And I fight. Well, I don't really fight, I say, but my guy. A lot of times, people would think that I'm doing stuff on a whim. Like, I just had this thought. Let's go do it. But
you had that vision like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I've been thinking about this. I'm like, him and I fussed a lot about this. Like, it just popped up, and I'm like, no, I just determined at this point that I would share it with you. But I've been thinking about this.
That's a good way to put it.
For the last 9-10 months.
Yeah.
I just did not speak it out loud because I go back to like when we start speaking into the atmosphere, it's out there now.
Yeah.
So I just I'll write it down. One of the grossest things my godmother used to say all the time, like a cow. A cow would chew it up, chew his food up, then they'll spit it out.
Yeah.
And then they'll eat it again, and they'll chew it up some more, and they'll spit it out, and then they'll do it again before they even digest it. And it's such a nasty like analogy, but you think about it, if you're a doer, you're a thinker-doer, because the thought has to come first. You're a thinker-doer. You just don't sit in the thought. That's how you do stuff. You think about it, you spit it out. I'm like, that's a good idea. Think about it again. Well, maybe if I do this and then add that to it. Okay, yeah, that's good. But what if this happens? So then when you decide to share it with someone, they're like, you come up with this idea. Man, I've been going over this idea for, like you said, 10 years.
Yeah.
I just got to a point where I finally got it through. Like, okay, this is how you do this. Now let's move.
Yeah.
Now I got to move. And that's how it's got to be. Because like you said, a song. What's a point of a book, a song of lyrics that never get out to the world?
Yeah.
And so that's a good one. I like that. Let's remember that.
Yeah. And I think that one of my favorite techniques of being successful is sharing my ideas with people because that creates accountability. So if I have an idea and I let it stay in my head, there's no accountability for me to actually put it out in the world because nobody knows about it. Only I know about it.
Yes.
But if I start sharing my idea with people, then people are going to be like, hey, what happened to blah, blah, blah? Like, why haven't you started
Come on, what are you doing? What are you doing?
So now I'm like, oh, crap. Like, I've got to meet these expectations. And I think that's what most people fear.
Accountability.
People fear that accountability, that expectation of, well, if I tell people, then now I have to actually do it.
Yep.
But to me, that's my recipe for success is, let me tell everybody.
Yeah.
So now I have to do it.
Where it gets on your nerves because they're asking you about it. We're almost like, let me get off my butt. Because one more person asked me, where is so-and-so? Why did I, I thought you were going that I'm going to scream and, pitch a fit. So yeah, absolutely. Yeah. I think that's why, like I was telling you earlier, we're waiting on a trademark. Hopefully it's done. I'm gonna make a phone call probably Monday about it. My Boss Chick think tank is working with other female entrepreneurs and also women or young girls that want to be an entrepreneur. Their life in their head, they're saying, I don't want to work for anyone, but how do I do this? And is being able to have that think tank, that group that gets together and holds each other accountable when it comes to your business or your plan to start a business, and having that trusting circle where I know that you're not going to hear my idea and take my idea and you go run with it.
Yeah.
But you're going to help me to hold me accountable and also help to provide me with insight that could possibly make my business better or give me direction or assist in my vision. So that is my idea of that, my written plan of that, of the think tank. And being able to assist. Not that men don't need it to, not leave me out, Jackson. But I know being a little girl, when I go back to me being a little girl and writing, what I attempted was a little business plan, basically a couple of paragraphs, me writing down in the book, this is what I want, and giving it a name, and all of that, but not knowing what to do with it. Not being able to go to my mom, who is has a degree in accounting, that's deep in her numbers, and say, "Hey, Mom, this is what I want to do. How do I do this?" A grandma that worked for city schools, and my grandfather, who was a cement mason, worked for the city. You know, how do I become this entrepreneur? You don't have that. You don't have that direction. So I want to be able to direct and instruct and help. And I'm literally actually doing that right now. Like, even though with Biscuits and Jams, I consult right now. I consult other people that have restaurants.
Is Unison?
Unison Consulting Group. Yeah, I consult. I had a meeting yesterday with one of the restaurants opening up. You know, helping them with the kitchen and giving instructions and menu advice and hey, have you looked at this? You thought about this? And even coming in the room and, you know, like, okay, this is your vision. This is what this restaurant is supposed to be, and walk in and like, I hear what you're saying, but I don't see that when I walk in here. You know,
I think that's a lot of people's problem. Is what they have in their head. It won't, like, it doesn't come out that way when they like start their project, and then you're like, this isn't what I was thinking.
But when you get there, you don't really know. You know, I have some really good guys. They're like some of my kids. I say that because they're like my daughter's age, you know, and amazing. And their restaurant is it's called Genre downtown. And I met them in one of my mini lives. I actually used to help be a part of a group that brought entertainment to the city and helped with marketing. Always, again, artsy fartsy. You know, I was like, I always just trying to get in like what I really love to do, which is all come together. You know, what I'm doing now, and they did production sound. Okay, and they've done some from some of the places and set it up for some of the businesses and places all over the city. And they have a restaurant. One of their twins. One of them is the chef, and he went into the restaurant. They had records on the wall and a DJ booth up top and all. And I was looking at it, just like, this is really nice. And I was like, sitting there, we talking. So he was like, what do you think? I said, that's nice. I said, he was like, yeah, I think I'm going to change this. I said, why do you have all that over there? And what are these pictures right here for? And he said, oh, you know, logo. I said, well, why? It doesn't go with your theme. I said, people know you because of this. You guys are awesome DJs, music, production, life. You know, that's the whole, you know, now it's incorporated food and all of that, and just, you know, lounge, nightlife, you know. And it's like, why you got that on the wall? When I come in here, I know who you are. I know who you are. They need to know who you are. Yeah. This wall says who you are. This says something else. Not bad. It wasn't anything bad. Yeah. But it wasn't the full vision of or thought of who they are. Yeah. And what they wanted. And they said, and we sit there and talk, and it's like, okay, we're gonna make some changes. We're gonna do this. And I went down there and they made those changes and stuff, and still making changes. And I'm like, I love it. So, and I'm like, well, what about this over here? You're going to do, you know, and that's me like, what about this over here? Yeah. You know, and it's like, and like I said, those are my kids, they're the same age as my daughter. So that's how I look at them. Yeah. And it's amazing what they're doing. It's amazing what they're doing and what they have coming up. And I'm so proud of them, but again, like you said, that accountability, having somebody you can talk to, it can come in and honestly say that I don't want anything from you. I just want you to do well. Yeah. So that's kind of what I'm doing on the side, and that's what I hope that I'm able to grow more of, so that I don't have to go back and do a 6-month contract on clinical research. I could do that and I could do it well. Yeah. But that's not what I love to do. I'm going there for a paycheck. Yeah. But doing that and going into a restaurant and can you come in my kitchen and look at my kitchen and tell me what I need in here? Yeah. Or can you look at my menu and tell me, am I all over the place with this menu? Or do you think this is going to be too pricey, or blah, blah, blah? Those are the things I'm getting the opportunity to do, even with Biscuits and Jams, Yeah. So I'm excited about that.
And that's something that I plan on doing in the future is I want to have a bunch of, I said I was going to call it GIFts, and it was an acronym for giving information for something. I forgot what it was, and I
like
messed this
that.
up on another.
I like that though. Yeah.
So I wanted to just like take people who were experts in their field, and then basically just have seminars, and it's going to be sort of kind of like TED Talks, pretty much. But basically, we just pick a subject and a person. So let's say we wanted to get like, I don't know, like Frasier Boy, like famous Memphis rapper. You take him and you're like, all right, Frasier Boy, you're going to give a 30-minute or a 1-hour seminar on rapping in the music business. So you're just going to tell us your story and how a rapper should carry themselves, how to become successful, blah, 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 blah. People show up who are interested in doing that. They learn from a person who is currently doing and or did the things that they want to do. I think that is missing in general in the public. Like there are like a lot of online classes of like they got master class, and then there's a thing I subscribe to called Pure Mix, and it's where it's just like audio engineers will go over like a complete song. They have a thing called Start to Finish where they actually did it. One in here in Memphis is Matt, I think is it Monsieur or something. I forget. I pronounce his last name, but he's an audio engineer and he has his own studio at the concourse now. But he did a Start to Finish, and it's literally there's an artist called Eli Paperboy Reed, but it's him and his band, and they recorded a song. And Matt shows you from start to finish, from them setting everything up to the finished product of how they did that song. And that's something I think we need more of in person, not these online videos that you get to watch. They're great, of course, but to be able to be in person with somebody hands-on and you can, hey, I got a question. That kind of interaction with people is what people need. Like those guys that you were talking about with their business. Like, yeah, they could have, if they knew you remotely or somebody famous remotely and like did a video call and be like, all right, this is my room. What you think we should do? Yeah, that could be helpful. But for you to be physically in the room with them and showing them like, all right, do this. All right. That's a great idea, but do this, stuff like that. I think that's missing from people in general, and that's something I want to start like in the future.
No, absolutely. I think it's very helpful. You know, because I think about when I started, I didn't know who to go to.
Yeah,
like I said, when I opened up my bakery in 2012, probably 2 years before I opened, when I would travel to different cities, because I used to travel a lot with my job. I had to go out and do audits and quality checks, and everywhere I went, I would look and see what bakeries or whatever they have, and I would call and make an appointment. I would go there because I wasn't competition. I wasn't in the same city they were, and I would sit and I'd go talk to them. You know, I'd go talk to the owner. I'd ask questions. I'd do that, or the manager, and I learned so much because that's just my personality. I'm going to ask questions because I want to know. And I would go do that, and then that helped me to be able to do and set up things that I needed to. But a lot of people don't feel that they can go do that, or they don't feel like people are going to be honest with them, you know, or loyal. They don't know if they're going to take their idea and run with it.
Yeah.
You know, so to have something set up where people can actually trust and know that, you know, I don't want anything from you other than you to know how to do this and know how to do it well, you know.
Yeah.
Because if I can't, like you, a parent tells their child, why are you doing this? I listen to me. I can keep you from going through a lot of pain if you just listen, you know, and take this in, because I've been there. I bumped my head already. So there's no need for you to bump your head, you know. So here's some advice, you know. And to think about it, you know, as you were talking, my career actually helped me to be able to have these conversations and go in and not seem intimidating or ugly, you know, whatever. You come into somebody's business or dream, and here it is.
Yeah.
And then you walk in the door and like, oh, what in the world are you doing?
Yeah.
You know, and come in, I'm like, okay, I know I'm gonna sound a little rough. You might get mad at me, but yeah, here's the list. This is what I need you to do. You know, and you know, and I find myself, because I'm still a little unsure. Like, I don't want to seem so, you know. I'm like, I'm sorry. I'm not trying to, but I just, you know, I want you to do well.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know that bit me in the butt, you know, and it's gonna bite you in the butt too.
Yeah.
You know, so
Something that I'm a huge fan of is giving people all my secrets. And the reason why is because I feel like, again, it's about that giving it to the world and then seeing what the world does with it. Even if it's, an idea I had, I'm never afraid of people taking my ideas. The reason why is because I'm Jackson Henderson and I'm the best Jackson Henderson there's ever been on the planet.
Love that.
And nobody else can be. There's a Dr. Seuss quote, actually. He said, you are you, and that's truer than true. Nobody can ever be youer than you. And that's something I've always taken to heart, because it's like, why would you be afraid if somebody takes an idea or like a plan that you have, because they can't do it like you do it, because you're going to do it like you do it. Nobody else can do it like you do it. Like today, I could open up a business called Jelly and Jukebox or something like that. And people are like, that's kind of like biscuits and jams. But I'm not going to be able to make biscuits like you can. I'm not going to be able to make that same gravy. I'm not going to be able to do anything like you can, because you've got that recipe. And some people say like you could have like the same recipe, but it won't turn out the same.
Totally. We just had it in the kitchen. I make gravy. I make the gravy, the sausage and gravy. It tastes one way. Same recipe.
Mm-hmm.
One of my other business partners, he makes it. He made it, and I was like, "Why is this so sweet?" So he wasn't. So what the freak did he put sugar in this? So I'm like telling one of my baker, I'm just saying so funny. He won't get mad. I was like, Phyllis, come here, taste this. She was like, "Oh, what did he put sugar in it?" It was like, so he comes in, because we have prep day on Tuesday where we make a lot of the stuff, The carry is like Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, we have to prep again for a weekend. He comes in yesterday. I'm like, Chef Christian, did you put sugar in the gravy? He was like, sugar in the gravy? I'm like, yeah, man, it's sweet. No, the recipe doesn't call for sugar. I'm like, give me a spoon, taste this. And he's like, it doesn't taste sweet. I said, sir, it's sweet. And then another one of the chefs said, come here, Eli, taste this. Eli tastes. He was like, what's sweet in this? And it's like, it was still had to figure it out, but it's the same recipe. And that's what you said. It's so fun. The same exact recipe. How in the world did he get sweet gravy? How did the sweetness come in there?
Yeah.
Who knows? I trust that he did not put sugar in it. I know that he did not put sugar in it.
Yeah.
Now, we use whole milk in it. I don't know if that gallon of whole milk had a little bit more sweetness in it. Who knows? But same recipe, same ingredients, one sweet, one not. So exactly what you said. And I feel like that too. It took me a long time though to get there.
Yeah.
Because it comes with it comes with a lot of confidence. And somebody would take that for arrogance, but it's not. I remember I had a guy one time that was trying to talk to me. He said to me, so is it confidence or arrogance you have? And I said, I don't know. Could be a little both. And I thought about it. I said, it wasn't arrogant. I'm not arrogant. At all. I finally got to a place that I'm confident in what I know I can do.
Yeah.
And I'm not going to allow anybody to make me feel like I don't know what I can do.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of time in life we question what we know that we know how to do.
Mm-hmm.
We question who we know we are because of what somebody else says, thinks. And when you said that, it makes me think about, I spent a lot of my life doing that. And what I love about my 40s is that I figured out who I was and who I am.
Yeah.
And who I am, not just to me, but who I am to other people.
Mm-hmm.
And so I don't care. You can't take this from me because this is mine.
Yeah.
So go and make one. There are restaurants in town, and even my other restaurant that I'm a partner in, we make stuff, and 2 days later, you'll see another restaurant posting something similar to it, or a restaurant will come in and patronize, and I'm coming to try you out, and then 3 months, the dish that they buy from you, 3 months later, you see they selling that same dish. Like, so they were coming in here trying to steal.
Yeah.
Let them have it.
Yeah.
It's not going to taste like that because because I know what mine tastes like.
Yeah.
It's not going to taste like it.
Yeah.
So it's fine. But if you don't have the confidence in knowing that it's enough out here for everybody, you're not the only one that makes an Alfredo pasta. Yeah, Olive Garden's been doing it for years, Red Lobster has too, and let them make it.
Yeah.
Theirs is theirs and ours is ours.
Yeah.
And have no problem with that,
Yeah.
but we spend a lot of time worried about what they're doing over there and just can't worry about that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Like the balls you have to open a burger restaurant or a pizza like that. There's a million of them.
Yes.
So you got to figure out what makes you stand out.
Yes.
Like, what is it about your burger I'm not going to go to Dyer's or I'm not going to go to Huey's or something like that. I'm going to have your burger. And that's something I teach to people all the time. Yeah. It's like, okay, if you, especially like the artist I work with, like if you are rapping on a beat, I tell people do not do a cover if you are not unique. Because if you do a cover to like Drake's Hotline Bling, why the heck would I listen to your Hotline Bling over Drake's? Drake's one of the most famous artists ever.
Absolutely.
So if you're going to do that, you better be amazing or something completely different.
Leave it alone.
Yeah, or leave it alone.
Leave it alone.
So again, like if somebody's going to come in your business and like sample, y'all got turkey burgers, right? Mm-hmm. If somebody's going to be like, oh, let me try their turkey burger and then I'm going to, make my own turkey burger at my restaurant. If they're going to do that, they better be doing something unique about that turkey
damn
burger.
Turkey burger.
Or nobody's going to buy it, or else they would just go to Biscuits and Jams and get your turkey burger.
Yeah, and you're absolutely right. I even thought about that when I did my menu. Am I the only person that makes shrimp or grits? Nope. My other restaurant, we make a version of shrimp or grits.
Yeah.
We got shrimp and grits is a meal that goes a lot of times at brunch spots. So we got a shrimp and grits.
Yeah.
So what makes our shrimp and grits different?
And it is a very good shrimp. That's the first, like, if a restaurant has shrimp and grits, I'm probably going to get it. Mm-hmm. And I've had a lot, and I really like your shrimp and grits. It's really good.
Thank you. It's like it's our shrimp and grits. I didn't invent the wheel on the shrimp and grits.
No,
I just did my version of the shrimp and grits. And now that I know you like it, I have to let you try my shrimp and grits that I make with a cumin and chipotle. My daughter keeps saying, "This is not your best shrimp and grit, Mom." Because I made one over the when we had the pandemic when it started and we were quarantined. Because I was just cooking up a storm. It's just whatever I thought about. I taught myself how to make Indian food during that time.
Oh,
yeah, I was just like
some curry and stuff like that?
Tikka masala, all of that stuff.
Okay.
I was just, I want to do Indian food. I get bored with food, so I just teach myself different cuisines anyway. But she's like, so I have to let you try the other one. But it's got a brown buttered shrimp in it. Oh. And corn.
Okay.
Yeah, it's totally different, but it's very good.
That sounds good.
The sauce is like amazing on there. The roux that you make to go with it. It's really good. So I have to make some of that and let you try it because I cook down there for them sometimes.
Okay.
Yeah, I did. I did carne asada. I did Mexican food, fried rice. No, I did Spanish rice and black beans and corn and all that last week for the kitchen staff because they don't ever nobody ever cooks for them.
Yeah.
And they cook for everybody in the building. So I cooked for them last week. But it's like what you create. I'm not worried about it. I'm not worried because I might have this little ingredient, or maybe the touch of my hand does something that yours doesn't do. And nobody, people don't think about that.
Yeah.
They don't think about that. So I'm not worried about what you do. Do it and be prosperous. Because I'm gonna do what I do and I'm gonna be prosperous.
Yeah.
Now, is there confidence or there arrogance? I don't know.
Yeah.
But
and as you say, it's that little bit of confidence to say, I'm okay with, because if you start a restaurant and you have these great ideas and these great recipes, people are gonna have it. You know what I mean? Like if you got a menu, people are going to see your menu. They're going to see what's in the food. So what does it matter? You know what I mean? And at the end of the day, you're still making that food, or, your cooks or whatever, and they still, are trying to stick to a script and they're going to get it done. It's kind of like, also, like, think about it in acting. Like, if you have, let's say if Will Smith was in Titanic instead of Leonardo DiCaprio, it wouldn't have been the same movie.
It would not have been the same movie.
You could have kept the same script.
Yeah.
You could have said the same words.
Yeah.
Wouldn't have been the same movie.
No, and it would be like, what the heck is that? And I love Will, but it's like, whoa, bad casting. Look.
So yeah, it all matters about the confidence you have in doing what you're doing and being able to give it to the world and say, hey, this is me. This is the best. Also, give it your all. You know, don't go halfway in.
Don't half-ass, huh?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because when people do things halfway, sometimes they don't realize they're doing it halfway.
No.
And then they get upset when they don't get the results they want. It's like, well, you put in 50%, so you're going to get out 50 or less.
I said, yeah, more like 25.
Yeah. Yeah. It's like inviting people to a party.
Yeah.
If you invite 100 people, about 20 are going to show up.
Yep.
So you got to give it more than your all.
Absolutely.
And I hope that people, after hearing this, will understand that it's not about, as we were saying earlier, just like, throwing all your money at everything just all loosely because like, oh, I might die tomorrow, just blow it all.
Woo.
But it's about, strategically planning, keeping that in your head. If so, you need to write it down, whatever. But also just like putting what you have, like all your eggs in the basket, and then going, all right, is this how I want this basket to look like? All right, maybe I need to change it up a little bit. Do what you think is best, but also let some other people in your life, the right people in your life, get the right guidance, and just go for it. A lot of people, they just need that person, like you were saying, that person who just gives them that little bit of info, that little bit of advice that just, helps them out. And it's refreshing to know that you're like that. Like that I have people, in my circle now that are doers. And I can't stand when people hit me up and like, hey man, can you help me do this? And can you help me do that? Like when you said you wanted help on podcasts, I was like, she's being for real.
Yeah.
Because I could sense that from you.
Seriously. Yeah. It's like I have a book and I looked at it this morning. It's just sitting on my nightstand. It said how to start a podcast. And I'm a visual learner.
Oh, okay.
So I'm a visual. Like I'll read the book. I can read the book all day, but I have to see, and once I see, I got it. And I was like, when we started talking, I was like, yeah, I've been wanting to do this. And I was like, ooh. And again, I go back to myself, oh God, thank you. Because this has been here and I spoke it out loud. I just didn't know exactly how I could do it. I even thought about like if I bought the equipment and set up in my house, like I could do that.
Yeah.
But no, I want to go to the studio. I don't want another office in the house.
Yeah.
I want to go and I want to do. So this has been, such a pleasure when you knocked on the door that day and we talked. It's like this is great. This is amazing. Then to know, like I walked out and I was like gonna walk. I said, "Oh crap!" I just walked out the back door and I just walked on down and came up and knock. I'm here. Hey, time of podcast. So I'm excited about it. I mean, it's such
even
a blessing.
When you stopped me when I was at the dumpster throwing the stuff away, and you asked me about the podcast. I was like, "Okay, she's serious."
I'm serious. Yeah. It's like this. It's like so not. Again, I think about it and I make a conscious decision whether or not this is something that I feel that I can move on and act on. I look at in my head, how is this going to benefit me in the other areas that I'm working on in my life? And I think this is a good thing to do. So let's move forward. Because even, I'll be honest with you, like during COVID, I was doing Zoom.
Oh, okay.
And Facebook, putting it on Facebook, and having people come on the Zoom and doing conversations and inviting them in to get information to other women and anybody want to join. Whether it be how to deal with the stress of being an entrepreneur or making financial sound advice and things like that. So I was like, this is just like another step in what I'm building. Yeah. So amazing. I'm so happy that I met you.
You would have wrapped it. Your phone has been blowing up.
I'm looking always like none of this. It's always blowing up, but I'm getting notifications. I posted a video of my staff and I dancing in the kitchen last night on TikTok and Facebook and Instagram. I'm the social media person, but I love that it's fun for me.
Yeah.
All that stuff, posting little videos and pictures. And as I said earlier, I love taking pictures of things. And so, yeah, it's nothing.
So I guess let's, to wrap things up, let's talk about what you're doing moving forward, what you got right now, and then whatever you feel like is going to be good, to let people know.
Okay. So biscuits and jams, what we have coming up within the next week, I just want to promote this. We're going to be, it's carnival season, and everybody always comes in like, who's from New Orleans in here? Like, it's got this New Orleans style cooking. And I'm like, oh, well, this is me, the recipes. I'm not from New Orleans though, but so we have a New Orleans style menu coming out for the whole month of February, along with our regular menu. But I think a lot of people are going to want to go to that menu with some cool food, like gumbo and crawfish etouffee and bananas foster French toast, all that cool stuff.
Nice.
And the drinks, we got the hurricane and different things. So it's called Let the Good Times Roll. Okay. So that's coming out. So I wanted to throw that little shameless plug out there, like, you want to get over this food. It's delicious.
Nice.
For the month of February. Got beads and all. We got a drink that even tastes like a king cake. I made it yesterday. Okay. We tried it out. And just growing the business, hopefully at some point this whole staffing issue will
it's hitting everybody.
Yeah, get better. And get to full capacity where we can have that patio open and all of that. I think we're gonna have a great spring and summer. So we definitely want to be able to do that, and got some night brunches coming up, which is going to be fun.
Good.
And just growing that, and within a year's time, looking at opening up at one more in another market. That's really one thing we have on our to-do list. Couple other, I have a catering kitchen that I'm, not being able to be building it out, and it's basically done. I just haven't been able to do what I need to do to get it up and going because of just been kind of, at the B&J.
Yeah.
Also with my consulting, hopefully being afforded more opportunities to assist up and coming restaurateurs and helping them to push their vision forward and answering those questions and keeping them from making some of the mistakes I've had to make, and get some of those bumps and bruises that, I got that, they don't have to get, So hopefully I'll have more people coming my way, and that keeps me from having to go back to my old ways in clinical research because it, and get paid for that.
Yeah.
And just honestly, living a life that affords me the opportunity to share my gifts, work in my gifts, be a blessing, and leave a legacy, of, that, I did what I came here for, and I helped some people on the way. It's a story that I saw years ago, and I've always held on to it. It was a person in the story, going back to death. It was a person in the story that died, went to heaven. It went in this room. It was a room. It was everybody. It was a room. The name was on the outside of the room, and the angel escorted him to the room. They went in the room, and the room was full of these boxes. And it was like a bunch of boxes, and he was like, What are all these boxes?" So he finally gets to God, and he asks God, like, I saw I went in my room, and it's all these boxes in there. What was just feel? What's all the boxes? And God was like, well, those are all the blessings that I wanted to give you, but I was never able to. So, and it's all the things I wanted to do for you, but I wasn't able to. So my thought is that when I get to heaven, and I go to the room, my name's on it, and I open up my room. My room is empty. It's empty.
Empty.
No boxes. No things in there that he wanted to give me that I couldn't, I was unable to receive because I was closed off or too scared, too much anxiety, to do it. So my goal is to have an empty room. I want to walk in it and say, man, I took advantage of this thing. There are no boxes. So I'll leave with that.
That's what it is. All right. Is there any like way you want people to reach out to you or something like?
Sure. You can get in contact with me at M.O. Williams with an S at Unison. That's UNISON Consulting, CONSULTING group.com. So that's M.O. Williams at unisonconsultinggroup.com.
And location for Biscuits and Jams.
Biscuits and Jams is at 5806 Stage Road, Bartlett, Tennessee, 38134. Our phone number is 901-672-7905. Got to put that 901 because you're going to hear this podcast in other places other than just Memphis.
Absolutely. All right. Yeah. I'll put you back at Biscuits and Jams, and if you want to, we'll go over all the stuff, the whole setup in here and everything.
Okay,
like that
perfect.
as well.
Thank you.
All right. Cool.
Awesome.
Thank you for everybody tuning in, and we'll see you next time.